Hi everybody, I'm Bill Sanders and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. Today what I want to do is it's another one of these three watches in three tiers. So we're going to be taking a look at 9 watches on 3 different tiers. Uh, the Whether they're high horology or not isn't sort of a criteria. I'm pretty much doing it on price grouping. You have we'll say a more affordable level, and for that we're looking at the Oris watches, sort of mid-level luxury, and for that we're looking at Glashütte original, and sort of for the higher ones we're looking at FP Journe. So we'll be looking at those 3, and we'll be looking at 3 examples. Probably sometimes I ended up with more than 3 because I found some extra interesting ones sort of together. Now, the first one I want to look at is the Oris Big Crown Pointer Date. I really like this watch. It's a bronze watch, and the cost is $2,100 US. And it has a caliber Oris 754, which has a base of a Sellita 2000-1. Now, the Sellitas are relatively inexpensive movements, but that doesn't mean they're cheap movements. They're simply inexpensive because they're mass-produced. They were originally made for ETA. ETA couldn't keep up with certain demands, and so they had to deal with Sellita, and Sellita would make some of the ETA models, and now they're taking over. they're doing all of that. It's a nice watch. It has cathedral hands, a little sort of a brown dial to it, and right at the end of the pointer date, or what I call the hand date, there's a little cup, and so you can see the date. Really like this watch, 2100. Now, at the bottom down there, I have one that I think was sort of came and went. It's called it's still there. You can still find it if you really have to look for it at the Oris site. It's called the Artelier 110. Now, this watch, the important thing about it was that it came out with a movement called the 110. The movement was at 3 hertz, 2100, 600 semi-oscillations per hour. That would be, I guess, the right way to put it. $6,500. It's really a gorgeous watch, I think. I really like it a lot. But I'm not sure whether they're continuing it or not. And the reason for that is that they had a series of 110, 111, 112, I think 113, 114, something like that. And they were pretty much the same movement with different features to it. And then they came out with one that we're going to look at next that's called the 400. Now, here is the Oris ProPilot X Caliber 400. And the interesting thing about this watch is that it uses silicon, but not in the ways that I get upset about, put it that way. They use a silicon lever and balance wheel, the escapement lever. And to me, that's fine. It's when they start using silicon on the hairspring that I said, oh, come on, guys, this is sort of going off a lot. The reason they're using silicon is totally non-magnetic, and a lot of watches are affected by magnetic fields, which we live in the world of computers. So it's one of those calibers that I find very interesting. They could have gone with a silicon balance spring, but they chose not to. They're sticking with their balance spring. It runs at 4 hertz, 28,800 semi-oscillation per hour. It's a 5-day watch. This particular one is titanium, 39 millimeters. I like that size, and $4,300. I like this watch now. This is nearing the higher end of Oris watches. Oris watches tend to be right around 2, maybe 3,000, the majority of them. But this one, with the caliber 400, they pop up the prices. Now, the final ones I was going to look at one and ended up looking at two because I like them both so much. One is called the Aquos Depth Gauge, and the reason that I liked it is it's got a depth gauge in it, and right up at 12 o'clock there's a little hole, and water goes into that hole, and it measures the depth by the pressure. So I thought that was sort of cool. I mean, for a diver watch, and with a rubber strap on it, it can be a real diver, and then it has the rotating bezels and everything else you need. This one has an Oris caliber 733, which is based on the Sellita 200-1, the SW 200-1. 4 hertz, same as the other ones. That's a big boy. It's 45.8 millimeters, almost 46 millimeters out of stainless steel, $3,900. Now, the Aquos GMT date, both of these, they have, the series is called Aquos. Now, this one, another big boy, it's 43.50 millimeters, stainless steel, $2,600. Not bad. That's more of a typical Oris price. And this is a what they call a GMT date. What they have both a date window at 3 o'clock, plus they have this extra pointy arrow on a 24-hour circle that it tells you what the 24-hour time is somewhere else, wherever you want to set it up for. But this one has got a caliber 798, and it's got a Sellita SW330-1. It's a little different than your 200. Okay, now the next watches, these are the mid-price watches, sort of in the middle of it, and this is the Glashütte original Panomatic Inverse, okay? Now, I've always liked this watch. I don't know why. Because I'm so into movements that you can see the movement. That's the inverse part. They switch it around. But one of the things about this watch that is extremely cool, it's got not only one, but it has two swan neck regulators. They're actually fine adjustments for the regulators, but they have two. And I go, well, what do you need two for? Well, it turns out that the one on the right, you can use for the fine adjustments for the rate, and the other one you use for the fine adjustment for the beat. And so you can do two elements with that. I knew there was a reason I liked it. I didn't know quite sure why. I also like the big date on it. You can see the date without, having to put on your spectacles or your magnifying glass or your loupe. $12,900. Now we're getting into the sort of the mid-range luxury. This is not, I guess, mid-range of all watches, but sort of in a luxury. This is one I really happen to like a lot. This next one is the Senator Chronograph Chronograph Panorama date. All right, a panorama date. I'm not sure what a panorama date is. It's just a nice big date. You also, over just about between the 9 and 10, you can see a little window in the subdial. That's the power reserve indicator. It's an automatic caliber 3701, 70 hours. This watch is $13,400. I'm not into chronographs, but I know a lot of people are, and with this chronograph, you get a lot. You get a lot with it. I mean, the power reserve indicator, and I think I like the way they arranged it. They got the 3 subdials with the small second, the 30-minute counter, and then the 12-hour counter. And I just like the way they arrange it. Then they have the 25, a big nice one, or not the 25, but the date window between sort of a quarter ways up from 6 o'clock. And of course they have the pushers and so forth. So this is another one for a mid price watch. Now, this last one is one that is to me, it's sort of like if you want to get a watch you enjoy wearing every day to work, and it's just a flat out nice watch. You could use it for a dress watch. The Glashütte Original 60s is, to me, that kind of watch. It has the same kind of simplicity that you'll see in the Calatrava or the Patrimony, or one of the nice clean watches. You just, it looks nice. It doesn't look like a cheap watch. And $6,400 is not a cheap watch. It's an automatic. It has a gold, sort of gold wrapped rotor on the back. One of the things is that they was skeletonized, so you can see a lot more of when you flip it over on the back. You can just, it has a window in the back, so you can see everything. Nice, just watch. $6,400 for a good mid-price luxury watch. Now, finally, we're getting to watches that none of us can afford anymore. And these are great watches. I happen to have one. I have the FP Journe Chronographe Rattrapante. This is what I'm wearing. And it's a great watch, but to be honest with you, I could not afford that today. I got it several years ago, and I got a good price on it. Now, I mean, people say, why don't you sell it? Well, because I don't want to sell it. I like it. Here is one I absolutely like a lot. Now, your Chronographe Rattrapante is sort of, to me, a just very nice watch in terms of it's hand wound. It has a power reserve indicator, small seconds between the 7 and the 8, which makes it more interesting. Just another interesting looking watch. It has double barrels in parallel, which will give you a more constant force as opposed to having dual barrels and serial, which will extend the movement time. This one's 40 millimeters platinum case on this particular one. This has got a platinum case, but I tell you the truth, I cannot tell the difference between platinum and stainless steel. And so it's, they don't make, well, they have a few in stainless steel, of course, they're crazy. Now this one is $39,600. Some years ago, they had one, they still have it, called the Blue, made of tantalum. And I think that was like $19,000 at the time. Now I see people asking $100,000 for them. It's gone insane. It really has. But these prices I got are the MSRP prices for now. Just a really a beautiful watch. Now this next one is FP Journe Chronographe Rattrapante. I don't know why I like Rattrapante, but I'm not crazy about Chronograph. I think maybe because I like to say Rattrapante. The FP Journe Chronograph, this one, I tried one of these on. They're made of titanium and they are extremely light. This is part of what they call their line sports models. And this one I like I said, because it's a Rattrapante. It is the caliber called 1518, titanium case and bracelet, 44 millimeters, a little big, 3 hertz. By the way, too, all of these FP Journe are 3 hertz or less. I don't know of any that are less, but most of them are 3 hertz. That's something you're going to find about their higher end watches, your very high ends. Their 3 hertz are 1.5 hertz, 18,000 semi-oscillations per hour. Just a note, sub-note. Okay, these are very light, 65,100 pounds. Now this is for the, not pounds, I'm sorry, euros. This is the titanium model. The ones in gold and platinum are more expensive. But this is sort of there's something about this one, given the titanium and the lightness. You put this thing on and you can hardly feel it. This is sort of their bargain price, Chronographe Rattrapante. Wonderful watch for a sports watch. I don't know if anyone would wear it because it's 65,000 euro. That's probably about $72,000, something like that. It was an incredible watch. So now this last one is part of their. It has a movement called the octa, and all the octas were automatics. The other two we looked at were hand wound. Another thing, you're going to find a lot more manual wound watches among your higher end watches than you will automatics. But they do have automatics. FP Journe does. This one is called the Octa Caliber 1300.3 automatic, 3 hertz again, platinum case. Now you can get this in 40 or 42 millimeter. I'm not quite sure why. I can understand like 38 or 42, something like that, but 40 or 42, I don't know. This one is 40 millimeters, to give you an idea how big that is. This one I really like. I almost bought one of these, but I made a deal with a jeweler, and then one of his best customers came in and he wanted it. I said, okay, fine, and ended up getting an even better watch, but that's another story. But I do like this watch, and I like with the blue and the platinum go nicely together. 50,000 euros. Again, not cheap by a long shot. Beautiful movement. By the way, too, the movements in all three of these, well, in two of the three watches, in the Chronomètre Sylvain and in this one, in the Automatique Lune, they're gold. They have the gold rotors. They have a gold case, a gold case, but they have also gold plates and bridges. Very few watches have that where you can't see it. Anyway, so those are this week's. There's 3 tiers and 3 watches, plus a few more. I'd be very interested in hearing from you. What do you think? And this is an opportunity to subscribe if you like. Until next time, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection.